the Danmei novel's appendices include an introduction to China's imperial dynasties, you know some serious shit's gonna go down. This isn't a full review of The Thousand Autumns English version, just my first impressions of it. One fine day, when I was rewatching the donghua of Scumbag Villain, seriously, where is season 2? Another donghua slides into my feeds. Huh, who's this Shuai Gaga? And who's the silver fox with a maniacal laugh?
老秃子，如今倒是肯露出真面目。
Turns out they are Xian Chao and Yaoshi, the main characters of author Mong Sushi's Jianqiu, or Thousand Autumns. The English version is published by Seven Seas. The first book was released last August 2023, and there are 5 books in all. The last book will be released in July 2024. I've read up to Volume 3 and have started on Volume 4. Here's some things I feel you should know before getting into this series. Say what you want about Seven Seas books, but one thing consistently good about them is that they do not skimp on the supplementary information. And for Thousand Autumns specifically, I strongly recommend reading the sections about China's imperial dynasties and the 3 schools of thought, because this is the backdrop against which the story of Thousand Autumns plays out. The Empire of Zhou is trying to take over its neighboring states in the Central Plains, while keeping the Guk Turks or the barbarians from invading. At the same time, the Buddhists, Confucianists, and Taoists are vying for favor with the emperor because support from the emperor means that the martial arts schools that are connected to a specific belief system can recruit more disciples, therefore growing their influence. For example, Tiantai sect is Buddhist, Linchuan Academy is Confucianist, and Suandu Mountain, which Xian Chao is a disciple of, is Taoist. And then there's the demonic cultivators. No, not that kind. There's no zombies here, just a lot of backstabbing, questionable sexual practices, and there's this one guy who makes masks from people's skin. Gross. So yeah, lots of internal and external conflict in Thousand Autumns. Let's try something. Can you tell me what all these Downmay book covers have in common? If you said, the couples are looking at each other, you'd be right. If you compare this to the Thousand Autumns first volume cover, it's clever visual language, expressing how the couples relate to each other. Chang'gang adores his Yifu, Liu Binghe admires his Shizun, Moran has issues with his Shizun, who secretly likes him. Shen Wei and Zhao Yunlan have known each other for forever. And what about Hualian, you ask? Well, look, they're sharing an umbrella and they're holding hands. They're obviously into each other, okay? And then there's Xian Chao and Yan Wuxi. These two might as well be strangers who passed by each other on the street, and there's a reason for that. At the beginning of Thousand Autumns, Yan Wuxi has just emerged after 10 years of seclusion, and his disciple Yu Shengyan greets him and reports that Qi Fengge, former leader of Shuandu Mountain, passed away 5 years ago, and the leader is now Xian Chao. Now, Shuandu Mountain and its disciples typically do not interfere in the secular world and its politics. So, while a lot of people seem to have heard of Shan Chao by name, not a lot of them have actually seen him. So, you'd imagine that getting these two to meet is harder than arranging a gathering of the antisocial social club. Until Xian Chao falls out of the sky. Literally. Yabushi saves Xian Chao's life, but not out of the goodness of his heart. Surely the evil laugh has made that obvious? Yamushi plans to turn Xian Chao evil by humiliating him in public, and putting him in situations where he can be betrayed by others. So this is all very romantic so far. But I think this is what makes Thousand Autumns stand out. The meet cute isn't cute at all. It's not love at first sight. I can't even say it's an enemies to lovers story exactly, because these two aren't directly enemies. In fact, in some contexts, they are working towards the same goal, namely, preventing the Empire of Great Zhou from falling apart, and therefore getting invaded by the Gokturks. How certain events make Xianqiao and Yang Wuxi develop as characters and change how they interact with each other are told in an interesting and even funny way. A lot of Thousand Autumn's characters are members of the Jianghu or martial arts world, so it's no surprise that there's a lot of fight scenes in the novel, and the amount of detail describing the fights are praiseworthy, both for the author and the translator. If you don't normally watch a lot of shows which are wuxia or martial arts dramas, it might be hard to imagine the fight scenes in your head. For example, what would the sword glare look like? So I also recommend watching a few episodes of the donghua to help you visualize the action sequences. Now, I could go on and on about the philosophical questions, the Taoist concepts, the level of self-awareness that the characters have, and their inner monologues, but this video would become too long. If you prefer Dan-Mei characters who like each other very quickly after they meet, Thousand Autumns might test your patience, but maybe that's exactly why I love this story. Reading through Shen Qiao and Yan Wuxi's disagreements and then reading about them working together is an emotional roller coaster, but it's one I like being on. I'm on book 4 now, and as you can see, the cover looks very different compared to the first one. The final volume comes out July this year, and I'm really rooting for Jiao and Yan Zhongzhou's relationship to become one that withstands the changing world. I'll do a full review of the series in the future, so please look forward to it.